Hey everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel Learn with Animesh, and you are watching the 7th part of Learn Playwright TypeScript series. In the last lecture, we learned about performing actions on different web elements using Playwright, and in this lecture, we'll look into assertions. We'll look into what is assertion and why do we need assertions in test automation. Then we'll look into Playwright assertions. Let's get started. So guys, the question is, what is assertion? So if you don't come from a test automation background, then you might not heard about assertions. But if you have done functional testing, so we checked the expected result against actual test result. So assertion is same thing, is checking a few checkpoints where if the test flow is working fine or not. So the question is, why do we need assertion? So guys, without assertion, a test is automation test is not an automation test. So we will execute few code, but it will not verify anything against any expected results with the actual result it is getting. So assertions are quite important, and this lecture is quite important related to assertions in Playwright. So we need to place different type of assertions in the checkpoints in test automation code in order to verify our script flow and the test is working fine. But we have to be aware of false positive assertions. This is a pro tip I can give as per my experience. So most of the time we write assertion, we did verify that execute the script and the script worked fine, but actually the assertion does not give any result, which is a false positive. So always try to fail your assertions when you are running a test to ensure that your test is failing for right reasons. So let's move on. Let's look into Playwright assertions. So Playwright generally give different type of assertions. They categorize The Playwright categorizes these assertions into three different primary categories. One is page assertions, locator assertions, and generic assertions. So the page assertions gives assertion of verification of page state, and locator assertions verify the locator state, and generic assertions generally used for verifying the values of the state. So let me move on to VS Code, and we will look into those assertions in action. So guys, I'm on my VS Code and we'll look into different type of Playwright assertions. We already looked into assertions when we were writing previous code, but I'll explain you why they are assertions. They are called assertions. So let's start with the page assertions. So let me start with the page assertion. So as you can see in this test, we are navigating to the test URL, and then we are verifying the page have a correct title and the page have a home URL. So as in the last lectures, I've seen that this learn with animesh is the page title, and we can inspect that and we can find out that in the page title, and this is a regular expression guys, don't worry, this is not a comma. So this will I'll explain when I'll explaining the regex expression in Playwright. And then the page have a URL of home. So if you navigate to the test URL, you will get to see that the page has home. So this is to verify the page URL have home, and then the page title we are asserting that it is learn with animesh. So those two called page assertion because they are validating the state of the page. So let's execute the script and find out if they are passing or not. The test executed and the test worked fine. So these are called page assertions, and let's move on to generic assertion first. So generic assertions generally used for validating a generic value here. So you can see here I am getting a page dot get by text with single click me, and dot text content is a helper method which will provide the text of this element. So this is, if I go here, if you see this single click me, if I inspect this one, so this single click me is the text. So the text content will provide the text of that element. So I am storing that text in the actual text constant, and then I am validating expect actual text to equal single click me. So I am expecting this actual text which I am getting from the element to be equal for this single click me. So this is called a generic assertion where we are validating a value here. So let's execute this and see if this is passing or not. So the page open and the test passed. So this is an example of generic assertion. Let's move on to locator assertion. So locator assertion is used for validating the locator state here. So here again I have stored element page dot get by text single click me, and then I am validated. This is a locator, So you can see this get by text is returning me a locator. I'm storing it at single click button variable, and then I'm using await expect that locator to be visible and expect a single click button to be enabled. So those are the two we are using for validating the locator state. So that's why it is called a locator assertion. So let me execute this script and see if this is working or not. So the test executed and it passed. So locator assertion have passed. So I am giving an example of those locator assertions. So if you need to read more and find out more about generic, page, and locator assertion, always follow the official documentation where you will find it. I will provide the links in the description. So this is a page assertion. You can get all the page assertion class here in the page assertion section, and then you will see the examples here till the page assertion. And if you scroll, there are a list of page assertion things. If you want to see the generic assertion, you can navigate to this page and see what the generic assertion class is giving. There are a lot of expect assertion. Playwright generally uses expect assertion, so you need to use those assertions. And locator assertions also, Playwright have a comprehensive documentation. All the methods is written. So those are like the locator assertions. So let's move on. In Playwright, we can validate negative assertions. So you can use negate not, and then we can validate if this is performing not operation or not. This is called a negative assertion. So let's see, this is a single click button not to be disabled. So in the last section we found out that this is an enabled, so this is passing. Then this is same as not disabled, so not is just reverting it. Sometimes you might have to use this not, so that's why I have segregated this as a negative assertion. So if I execute this script, this is enabled, that means it is not disabled, so the test passed. So this is called a negative assertion. And one of the important aspect of automation assertion is a soft assertion. So guys, this is an important lecture here. So soft assertion is an assertion you can apply to any expect assertion. So soft assertion, the functionality or the advantage of using soft assertion is like, if you use a soft assertion, this does not actually break the execution flow, and it will actually validate all the rest of the code. So generally what happened when you are using assertion, normal assertion, which is you can also call hard assertion. So if the tests have failed on a certain point, the rest of the code will not be executed. So let's see here an example. Let's say I have a negative assertion. So I just change this not as to be disabled. So we are expecting this test code to fail at line 17. So in this scenario, the rest of the codes till 22 will not be executed. So let me execute this so that we found out the behavior. So the test has been executing and the test failed. So let's see if the test failed. The test failed at line 17, and this is that it is expecting that to be disabled, but this is not disabled, so this is enabled. So the unexpected value enabled is present, so that's why it failed on line 17. And as you can see there, the tests have not gone any to the rest of the code. So that's why the execution have stopped here on line 17. That is the difference between a soft assertion and normal assertion. So let me revert this code and let's see what happened when we are doing a soft assertion here. So we are using the same thing as we are doing in the line 17. We only use a expect.soft. So this is to be disabled. So we are expecting this test to be failed on line 19. But you need to see that this line 21 and line 22 will be executed. So you see here, this expect assertion, the double click to be visible, this 21 line will pass, but this 22 line expect this to be disabled. This is not pass, so this will fail. And this is a normal assertion, the test will fail, but this will execute those two because we are using soft assertion in line 90. Let me execute the script and see how it goes. So executing the script, the test will fail, but it should go to execute those two lines. Okay, so let's see, the test have failed. So the test have failed, as you can see, the test have failed in line 19, but the test in line 21 has passed. But you can see line 22, which is expected to fail, and this has executed. So this is the advantage of using soft assertion. So if you want your execution flow not to be break due to that particular assertion, then you can use soft assertion in here so that it does not break the flow. So this is an example of using soft assertion with the normal assertion. So Playwright Assertion is quite important, and Playwright have some kind of other features where Playwright Assertion works in auto retry mode, and some assertion does not have an auto retry feature. So you need to learn those concepts, what is auto retrying, why it is auto retrying. So let's move on to the official Playwright documentation of assertions, and let's see in the official documentation what is auto retrying stuff and what is not. So if you can explore this documentation auto retrying assertion, so the following list of assertions will retry until assertion first or the assertion timeout is reached. So this assertion timeout you can set from playwright.config.ts file, which I have shown in the initial lecture. So by default you can see this timeout for assertion is set as 5 seconds and it will retry. So if you use those kind of assertions, generally it's all the await assertion, that is called all the locator assertions, or they are auto retry assertions. So if you use those kind of assertions, they will be retrying multiple times until the timeout has reached or the assertion have passed. So this retry capability is really powerful in Playwright, for which you do not need to use kind of explicit waits, and it will be really easy. Most of the page and locator assertions have this auto retry capability, but not all the assertions. Mostly the generic assertions, they do not use auto retry capability, so you have to use those explicit waits if you want to implement any kind of retrying or polling. So all the list of non-retrying assertions are already listed in the official documentation. I'll provide you a link to the description. All the assertions you can find out more about retrying and non-retrying assertion, but this is quite helpful in using Playwright. So now time for a knowledge check. If you follow along the lecture, you should be able to answer the question I provided in the knowledge check, and do comment your answers. I'll provide you the correct answer on the comment section. So thanks guys, thanks for watching the video. If you like the video, then hit the like button, subscribe to my channel and follow me on LinkedIn. Subscribe to my channel for all future videos. I'll be soon uploading the part 8 of this Playwright series, and do let me know if you're finding those videos helpful, if you want anything from me or any improvement on the video, so that I will try to implement them. So until next video, see you in the next lecture.